Welcome to the Dam Owner Academy, brought to you by the Association of State Dam Safety Officials, or ASDSO, a series of videos to educate and inform on all aspects of operating and maintaining a dam safely. This video will cover the process of emergency planning. Owners of dams are ultimately responsible and liable for the safety of their structures. Dams provide many benefits, but they also carry significant risks and liabilities. Although most dams are structurally sound and well maintained, many still fail every year for a wide variety of reasons. When a dam fails catastrophically, the flooding that results can endanger lives and damage property downstream. When an emergency strikes, owners don't want to be making decisions on the spot. An Emergency Action Plan, or EAP, is a written document that helps prepare dam owners, their engineers, and emergency managers if an incident arises. Depending on your state or your dam's hazard classification, you may or may not be required to prepare a formal EAP. However, all dam owners are responsible for safe dam operation. Even if not required by law, an owner should be prepared to take action in the event of a dam safety emergency to limit their liability. In this video, we'll discuss the key components of an EAP and how you can prepare one for your dam. Your EAP should first identify the roles and responsibilities of key personnel, including who is responsible for operation and maintenance decisions on the dam, the person in charge of regular observations of the structure, and who is available if an emergency occurs after normal work hours, during a holiday or weekend. You should also identify the local and state dam safety and emergency management officials who would be involved during an incident, and an engineer who is familiar with the dam and can provide technical assistance during an emergency. Next, an EAP should have information to help identify and classify the severity of a dam safety incident. There are many indicators that a safety issue may be arising, and they're all different for each individual structure. The EAP should include information about the dam's routine inspection schedule, including the person responsible for regular observation. Next, list the specific observations or conditions that would indicate the initiation of a dam safety emergency, their severity, and what actions should be triggered as a result. For example, many emergency action plans use 3 classifications to describe the severity and urgency. A watch condition indicates that a problem has been detected that requires immediate remediation or repairs. In a watch condition, the distress is considered manageable and a failure is not expected. The next level is a possible dam failure condition. In this case, the situation is deteriorating and it's possible the dam will fail if mitigation efforts do not succeed. Finally, an imminent dam failure condition is reached when actions to arrest the incident have failed and an uncontrolled and perhaps catastrophic release of the reservoir is expected. Each of the 3 classifications trigger different levels of notification and actions based on the urgency and severity of the situation. The EAP will also include actions to be taken to moderate or mitigate a problem at the dam. You should outline preparedness actions such as surveillance of the structure during severe weather, identification of multiple access routes, and steps to lower the reservoir water level if needed. You should also outline the materials and equipment that may be required in the event of an emergency and where they can be procured. Finally, identify the actions to be taken in response to each type of dam safety incident to prevent emergency conditions from worsening and minimize the extent of damage and potential loss of life that could result. If an emergency does arise, the dam owner is responsible for notifying the appropriate parties. Your EAP should include a flowchart summarizing the chain of notifications during a dam safety incident. Include names and phone numbers listed according to who will call whom and in what priority. It is normally the responsibility of local governments or law enforcement agencies to warn the public of an emergency and carry out evacuations. In addition, the National Weather Service has the mandate for issuing flood warnings, including those caused by dam failures. The NWS has robust warning infrastructure and access to the emergency alert system. You should work with local, state, and national emergency management officials to establish a proper notification flowchart for your EAP. One of the most important parts of an emergency action plan is determining the area downstream at risk of inundation from a failure. An engineer should develop a hydraulic model using software to characterize the area downstream of your dam and estimate the inundated area that would occur as a result of a breach. Once the modeling is complete, the flooded area is plotted on a map. This inundation mapping establishes the hazard classification of your dam and will help coordinate evacuations, road closures, and warning messages during an emergency. Rainy day and sunny day failures can both be mapped where there's a significant difference in inundated areas to aid in evacuations. The dam owner is responsible for development and exercises of the EAP. However, there are guidelines, tools, and assistance available to help owners. Preparation of an emergency action plan requires devotion of time and effort. It's typical for an owner to hire an engineer with experience in dams to assist with the process. Inundation mapping must be performed by an engineer. The completed document should have input from emergency managers, state dam safety officials, leaders of downstream communities, and, directly or indirectly, everyone who may be responsible for the proper implementation of the EAP. Conditions at your dam and the people involved in emergency management will change over time, so you should review and update your EAP at least once per year and after any major changes in conditions or personnel. Responsible people should be trained in how to use the EAP so they're thoroughly familiar with all elements of the plan and their duties if a problem arises. Emergencies are rare events, so exercises can help maintain readiness. A tabletop exercise is a meeting between dam operators and local emergency management officials to simulate a dam safety incident. The exercise begins with a description of an event and proceeds with discussions among participants to implement the emergency action plan. A tabletop exercise helps resolve concerns about coordination and responsibilities and gives responsible parties an opportunity to practice their duties in the event of an emergency. For larger dams or those with significant development downstream, a more rigorous training and exercise program is appropriate, including more frequent drills for dam personnel and regular coordination with emergency managers. Preparing and maintaining an emergency action plan is an essential step in reducing the risk to lives and property from the consequences of a failure. Regardless of regulatory requirements, dam owners are liable for safety incidents. An EAP limits this liability by demonstrating the diligence of a reasonable person to protect lives and property and complements proper maintenance of your dam. The Association of State Dam Safety Officials has free resources available to help owners operate and maintain their dams safely. Contact your state dam safety program for additional help, and be sure to check out ASDSO's website at damowner.org for more information.